There is a kind of spirituality that glows, soft, warm, gentle, a world of crystals and windowsills, pastel oracle cards, and the comforting promise that everything can be healed with the right vibration. To someone escaping fear-based religion, it feels like relief. A breath after years of suffocation, a place that finally feels safe. That's where the Love and Light movement began, as a rebellion against shame, punishment, and a God who frightened more than loved. But in running from one extreme, many people unknowingly ran straight into another. Instead of facing darkness, the movement erased it. Instead of balance, it worshipped purity. Instead of truth, it clung to positivity. God became source. Pain became misalignment. Sadness became low vibration. Anger became your shadow. Grief became something you shouldn't sit with. Anything that made you human was treated as something you needed to overcome. It looked compassionate. It sounded peaceful, but something vital was missing. Because people weren't healing. They were avoiding darkness, avoiding depth, avoiding anything that threatened the identity they built from light. Real spirituality includes darkness, not evil, darkness. The parts of us that bleed and ache and doubt and fear and fall apart and want to understand why. Darkness is where insight grows. It's where truth lives. It's where intuition becomes real. But the Love and Light world taught people to run from it, to hide from it, to label it as low vibe instead of what it actually is, part of being human. And when something painful appeared that they couldn't ignore, a truth, a contradiction, a consequence, they didn't face it. If they couldn't delete it, they rewrote it. They recast reality as fear energy. They reframed harm as a lesson. They reinterpreted conflict as density. They spiritualized abuse as your mirror. They dismissed danger as a test from the universe. Anything that caused discomfort was rewritten until it fit the doctrine of endless brightness. And in that rewriting, the movement revealed its darkest truth. It doesn't just avoid emotions, it avoids reality. If someone lost their job, practical planning wasn't encouraged. Raising your vibration was. If rent was due and money was gone, it wasn't a crisis, it was a manifestation block. If a partner walked out after 25 years of marriage for someone half their age, the guidance wasn't to grieve, rebuild, and rise. It was to hold the timeline of reunion and trust the soul contract. And if someone said, "No, this hurts, what do I do?" the answer was often, change your reality by changing your thoughts. But rent doesn't accept thoughts. Landlords don't accept alignment, and people who follow this path don't just struggle. They get evicted, they get abandoned, they get blindsided, they get harmed, they lose their footing in the real world. Because ignoring reality doesn't protect you from its consequences. And yet, this is the only spiritual environment where delusion is not only allowed, it is rewarded. In any other social group, someone would gently say, "Hey, you need a plan, let's figure this out." But inside the Love and Light world, choosing fantasy over reality is celebrated. No one corrects you. No one grounds you. No one says, "This isn't real." Instead, they praise your denial as though it were enlightenment. They applaud your refusal to face facts as though it were faith. The more deeply you live in fantasy, the more awakened they tell you you are. It becomes a community that protects delusion and punishes honesty. A world where truth is negative energy, realism is fear-based, and any voice of grounding is treated as an attack. A world where people enable one another to float farther and farther from life until the consequences come crashing in like a tidal wave no vibration can stop. And this is what makes the Love and Light movement dangerous. Not the crystals, not the rituals, not the aesthetics, but the communal agreement that fantasy is superior to truth. The shared belief that you can rewrite the world to avoid pain. The group encouragement to deny reality because it feels uncomfortable. That is the heart of the cult. But here is the truth the movement hides. A spirituality that cannot hold darkness cannot hold you. A spirituality that collapses under honesty was never strong enough to guide you. And a spirituality that teaches you to rewrite reality will abandon you the moment reality arrives. Healthy spirituality doesn't ask you to glow through the pain. It doesn't shame you for grieving. It doesn't punish you for feeling. And it doesn't ask you to leave the real world behind. Healthy spirituality says, come as you are. Bring your heartbreak. Bring your anger. Bring your confusion. Bring the truth you're afraid to say out loud. It says, sit with what hurts until you understand it. Face the darkness until you heal. Walk through the night until the morning comes. It doesn't tell you to manifest your way around life. It teaches you how to live it. And if you've walked away from the love and light ecosystem, you didn't lose your light. You reclaimed your grounding. You stepped out of the pastel fantasy and into reality, where the flame is real, the night is real, and your spirit walks tall because it no longer hides from itself. This is where the real journey begins, not in the light alone, but in wholeness, in honesty, in the beautiful, powerful human truth of your entire being. And that wholeness is the antidote.